The 2023 election, to me, it is not credible. The INEC failed. They did not do what they are supposed to do. They promised us that they are going to upload results at the moment they finish the election. But all we could see is manual counting, and there was a lot of rigging everywhere. The election, to me, if I am to say, is for them to cancel all the elections and for us to go back to the drawing book and see what we can do to have a credible election in Nigeria and to make sure that our democracy is okay.
Thank you very much. And also, let me ask you again, are you in support of the call for interim government?
Well, for now, if Peter Obi, with his legal battle, and come May 29, and it is not actually actualized, I think the nation should go on interim government to make sure that our democracy is solidly okay.
Okay, you're in support of interim government.
Yeah.
But you and I know that interim government is not in our constitution. And what do you think? How can we navigate through that order at the moment?
Well, it depends on our judiciary. Nigerian judiciary is such that you cannot trust. You can't trust Nigerian judiciary. If it is a place where the rule of law operates, I don't think that the swearing in May 29 will be a realistic one. But for now, let's see what the judiciary will come out with.
Thank you very much.
The election is free and fair. So, and if people say maybe election was rigged, I'm not believe that. Because most of the places that APC won the election, even though most of their key area, they lose their presidential election. So when it comes about the governorship elections, so if you say presidential election is a very maybe it's rigged, but governorship elections is also rigged because governorship election is not as credible as presidential election, based on maybe my own opinion.
Some citizens have been raising issues about the credibility of the election, that the results we had does not reflect the will of the people. What is your message to Obi and Atiku, who has submitted their petition now?
Obi, I'm not seeing Obi winning the election because even though
you are saying that Obi didn't win.
Obi didn't win the election.
Okay, to you.
Yes, Obi didn't win the election. People that, even though if you see the figure that Obi get, maybe maybe two, no, I can't recall the figure, but it's even far beyond the figure that the winner got.
Don't you think he has some evidence to back his claim that he won the election?
That figure, well, I can't say, but maybe everybody has rights. Maybe you can go to the court of law to go and prove it. If the court of law now say that maybe based on his evidence, you win all these things. Let's wait for the court of law so that anybody can decide.
Okay, and just 2 days ago, the DSS issued a statement that some Nigerians are plotting for an interim government. Well, what is your assessment of the statement? Do you think it was really the right decision for DSS to issue such statements?
They've already told. Atiku said DSS, they are just trying to bring out. Maybe they are just trying to use that statement to arrest the opposition.
Yeah, do you agree with that?
Yeah. Everybody are just talking in their favor, so I'm not agree with that. But all the governors also they've spoken and they said that DSS they should try as much as possible that anybody that they know that maybe is planning any interim government, they should point out the person and they get the person arrested. So that's what I'm waiting for. DSS also to swing into the action, and that maybe whatever they say, people will be looking toward their action.
Okay, what's the way forward for Nigerians as we approach the handing over?
Handing over is going to be well because the man has given the certificate of return. And for someone to be given certificate of return, it very clearly, and it had already been clearly that he won the election. So election is going. I mean, in the May 29, we are expecting a new government, and I believe that maybe it's going to be a good government.
Thank you very much. The election was a joke, a sham, and a failure. It is glaring to everybody. Even though the international organization have said so, but we don't even wait for their verdict because we are here, we saw what happened. It was rigged at all levels, from polling unit to the ward. The Electoral Act was not followed because the Electoral Act simply states that after election vote has been counted and you have put it on the result sheet, send it through the beavers so that citizens can see it at real time. That was not done. As we are speaking, they are even still uploading presidential election results. So it's a joke, and not only was the beavers issue, the thuggery, the suppression, beating of voters, attacking of voters, stealing of voters' properties even at the polling unit. You know, so these are not elections, this is a joke. The security agency is also part of it. INEC officials collecting dollars. Come on, in the 21st century that Nigeria is still having this kind of election, these men in power just took us another 50 years backward.
So do you think the judiciary can remedy the situation?
When the people that destroyed an election organize a terrible election for you, a Professor Yakubu that we have already said should be sacked in 2021, is telling you to go to court. The people are telling you to go to court. You should understand that they are not planning for victory. But are we going to tell those that are going to court not to go to court? They should. It's their right. They are free. But we don't expect any justice through the court system. Because all the people that are even going to court are also involved in these very, very, very activities that we are talking about. All these major political parties rig the election in their strongholds by thuggery, by suppression, by buying of votes. So who are the people going to court? The same people that want to come and destroy the country? They are free. But we don't expect any justice from the courts of Nigeria.
So yeah, all hope is lost.
All hope is not lost on Nigerians. All hope is not lost on the citizens. But all hope is lost on the people currently in power now. They have never done anything right for the people, and they are not planning to. All their calculation is to continue to install themselves in power. But Nigerians who are not hopeless people should rise up to the situation and demand for a just society, not only through the polls, but also through other means that they want to happen. Vote is your right when you are allowed to vote your right. Vote is your right when you are allowed to vote in a safe and secure environment. In an election where in Lagos just 16% was able to vote, in over 7 million voters, it's a shame. In the presidential election where we are just having 20-something%, in over 86 million voters, it's a shame. You understand? And why? Because they didn't believe in the system, they were suppressed, they were attacked, and definitely they need to stand up. So there's no hope on the side of the people, but there's hopelessness. There's hope in the side of the people rather, but there's hopelessness in the side of this currently in power.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yes, for AAC it's very simple. We are a revolutionary party, and that's what we are. We don't close our eyes and blind towards just election. There are other means to get the society safe. Countries have done it, and we are going to organize the people towards that process. That the ruling class have an option. They give Nigerians social revolution, or they get the unexpected, which should not even be organized by the like of us. A revolution is happening in this country, and Nigerian citizens will take their country back. 200 million people cannot sleep and allow few to control their style and their way of living. Thank you.
Presidential election especially was not free and fair. In Lagos here, we experienced one of the worst election when it came to the governorship and the House of Assembly. For the presidency, I think what happened in Lagos was not speculated, but for the governorship and the state assembly, they speculated what will happen, and they did all they can to stop people from voting. Nationwide, I believe that election was not free and fair because, I mean, we had a method of sending the foods to the server, but it never went through that method.
For me, I believe that we are getting to a stage where everybody should stay at home and vote. And as you are voting, is counting at the server direct, not this method. For me, we have passed this level.
So are you in support of Peter Obi and Atiku's petition and demanding an outright cancellation of the result or calling for a fresh election?
They never demanded outright cancellation of the result, especially Obi. He said he wanted to know the process. If the process was right, fine. What is challenging is not a declaration. What is challenging is the process. I listened to him on our Rise television and he was very clear about it. The process should be interrogated. Then we can know actually if that process was followed. Because, I mean, it's like you setting up a match. You have your football field and the goalpost, and at the time of during the match, you now shifted the goalpost. It's not right. It's not right. You change the rules. It's not right. For me, INEC has done rubbish, and they should be dismissed, especially the chairman of INEC.
And also, just 2 days ago, the Department of State Services issued a statement that some persons are plotting to install an interim government. What is your reaction to their statement?
I tend not to believe that. Of course, we've seen a situation of a phantom coup in this country. And for me, I liken this to a phantom coup allegation. And God knows where they are going. So I don't think that is true. It's not the first time it has happened in this country. We remember the case of Abacha and the D and Co. I mean, so for me, no, the Soneko coup was, it was okay, but for the Dia and Co, to me, it was a makeup.
So what is the way forward? What do you suggest as the way forward for our democracy? How can we strengthen our democracy? And your message to Nigerians as we approach the transition incoming, as we approach the arrival of the new government in power?
My advice for the politicians is that you should learn to do things right. Allow people to put them in power, not imposing themselves on the people. It's not a question of saying that, yes, I have to get this thing, whether they like it or not. At that point, it's no longer government of the people, by the people, and for the people. It's the government of individual, by the individual, and for the individual. That's what it is. So for me, the way forward is for everybody to be honest. If people say, yes, you should be their leader, fine. If they say no, then you should just go home and sit down. The way election has gone on in this country does not encourage anybody. Because, I mean, we are talking of somebody that has been rejected 3 times by the country. And that person finally came to power, and somebody is beating his chest that he brought him to power. Then is the person's president, not our president.
Thank you very much, sir.
You're welcome.
Yes, sir.
The election was free and fair. It may not be 100% correct, but as they did the election, it's free and fair, on my own opinion, because everything cannot be correct. So where there is problem is minimum to the general voting pattern.
So do you think INEC perform up to expectation? Well, with the assurances before the election that okay, the result will be transmitted in real time from the polling units?
Yes, they tried their best. You know, the communication or network is the problem. Even in your phone, you always have problem. But as they are using network now, you can't blame them in total for that. So they have done it and they have not the result. Let us see the consequences of the result.
Yeah. just 2 days ago, the DSS issued a statement that some persons are plotting against the peaceful transition, that they are working towards installing an interim government to make the country ungovernable, thereby paving way for an interim government. What is your view on this statement, sir?
The only thing is that the loser will not accept. They have lose, and it's supposed to down to the rule of if you fail, there's a process. Go to the court. So court will, that's another option for you. If the INEC is wrong, court is there to declare you winner. No need of causing problem in the country. We have seen a government that have been working for 4 years. At the end of the day, they say you should leave the place. Why worrying themselves of interim government? They want to cause crisis in Nigeria. Because they are afraid, they are looking for the crisis in Nigeria.
So what is your message to Nigerians as we await the new government?
So as we are waiting the new government, if the man sweat in, all the performances of the former government, so should be looked into. And the one that is strong is supposed to correct it. So we fought for him, not for the party. So we hope that next government will be better for Nigeria.
Thank you very much, sir.
Apparently not at all. As you can see, there was voter intimidation, there was vote buying almost from the ruling parties, all the ruling parties, except for few parties that we couldn't see enough of their actions. But so far so good. We saw a lot of videos where the top 3 parties are buying votes. Then we also saw voter intimidation. We saw the ethnic card played by MC Oluomo that says non-Yorubas or non-APC voters should not come out. So apparently it's just a repetition of the fake elections that we've had in the past. So, but I am not shocked because once you have three establishment politicians or 4 that are regarded as the top 4, the top 4 politicians to me are incompetent thieves who served in official capacities in the past and failed. And none of them are talking about ideology. They are just talking about I'm popular. They are talking about I was a governor. None of them is talking about what they want to do on education except for Showore and the other younger candidates. You know, so I don't expect people that are not talking about ideology to just believe in free and fair election, because apparently what they intend to do on the other belly of everything is to spend their money and to confuse people with their tribal and religious propaganda. You know, as you can see, many churches came into the politics. Everybody violated the Electoral Act. Some people donated. They got more than the Electoral Act said. Some people use languages that they shouldn't use. So even INEC itself is not ready. INEC allowed results from IREV directly instead of Beavers, and they're saying, oh, Beavers can no longer handle the election for us. So there's no difference between this election and the last election. The only difference is that for the first time we had like 5 candidates on the radar of electorates, but the electorates themselves have not demonstrated higher level of consciousness. They still chose one of the ruling class, 2 of the ruling class candidates to follow, and that's the result we get today. But I wouldn't blame the electorate's consciousness. I'd rather blame the ruling class intimidation. Most people couldn't come out to vote. Then the naira scarcity was a major demobilizer. People were so hungry. People were scared of where to get their next cash. Like I walked like 15 kilometers to go vote. I was coming back hungry and weak. So how many people can walk 15 kilometers to go vote? So that naira scarcity, fuel scarcity, and a lot of that contributed to the voter party this time. But what crowned it all was the intimidation from APC thugs. And the police PRO said it's a joke on behalf of the APC thug. And that shouldn't be shocking too. The last police boss in Lagos now works under MC Oluomo. So probably the current ones are seeing MC Oluomo as their boss too, if their immediate past boss is under MC Oluomo.
Now, are you referring to Akim Odumosun?
Yeah, Akim Odumosun. He's the liaison officer for the park management system, you know, and the Nigerian police, we even saw videos of where they were snatching ballots. Police were used to snatch ballots in River State. Many coppers came with confessions of $600. You understand? You know, so the election was marred with corruption, violence, and intimidation.
So going forward now, what do you suggest as the way forward for citizens? Should we have hope in our electoral process?
May they no guess and may they play. Because if you still have illusion that a PDP decampi, APC decampi, because if you look at all the people in the so-called party of the masses today, all the people in the so-called party of the masses today, they are not considering where their candidate is coming from. Most of the candidates on Labour Party are from PDP and they are from APC. And in fact, they have shown their character. Some of them said they will commercialize education. Some of them have said they will remove subsidy and many anti-people policies. And yet, people are still saying, yeah, we'll vote for the person because of popularity and tribe. So which means that as citizens, we need to understand that there is a class that is against us. There is a class that is oppressing us that we must vote against, that we must organize against. So if the electorates don't wake up to identify the classes at war and the classes where they belong, they'll just be voting for one of the thieves, the lesser evil that is popular. So we need to grow from that lesser evil that is popular, that is from that has the tribe that we believe needs to be justified politically. Even if we want to talk about Igbo presidency, we should be talking about a working class Igbo man, not the ruling class Igbo men. The ruling class Igbo men are in bed with the people in Aso Rock. So we need to change. Well, if we want to enthrone anybody in that Aso Rock, it must be from a working class. It must be somebody that represents enough welfare for the masses, somebody with history, for somebody who stood by free education, somebody who stood by free healthcare. You understand me? So that's it. I don't see any growth yet, and it's still hinged on the electorate's consciousness.
So are you saying that the two leading opposition are in court? They filed their petition during the week. Do you see any hope of the election result?
Maybe they play because.
What do you mean by they play?
Like this same court, whose court orders were violated over 70 times by Buhari. You know, this same court that made the judgment in Osun, where there were two overvoting and they decided to give the vote somewhere else. We already know that the court is compromised. The court is compromised, and the court will never side the people's opinion, because NSAS detainees are still in jail, they are languishing there, and they don't have any case against them. There's no evidence against them. So people that believe in courts, they should continue. Buhari had 120 Ghana must go of evidence against Yaradua. Do you know what the verdict says? The verdict says the PDP thugs that were wearing PDP uniforms, that were snatching ballots, cannot be proven to be PDP. That even though they are wearing PDP shirts and they snap ballots, that is a case of an unknown soldier. And the cost of election must be considered than the cost of justice. That, okay, instead of me to annul this election, I will not annul it. What will I do? Because of the cost, I will just let this Yaradua continue to be president, because those guys you are saying they snatch ballots are unknown soldiers. So if somebody can have 120 Ghana must go of evidence with videos, and yet you came on TV to tell us that they are unknown soldiers who perpetrated the violence, so I don't think there's election through the court. Even Buhari that said they should go to court couldn't win at the court 3 times. So he knows what he's saying. It's just, like I said, maybe they play. Everybody go wise. Without mass uprising, we can't get these people to do anything that will support the masses.
Thank you very much.
Now, it is very, very good and fair election. Every people come out, massively vote who they like, and we are, thank God, at the end of the day, we put up bring the result good, and we are happy that APC win the election. So it's good that they elect the new president elected, our government. So we pray to God that by the grace of Allah to reach the post by inshallah. So there's no more entire government this time. So when the time ends for our former president, right, it is hand over to our new elected president.
What is your reaction to those calling for the cancellation of the election, that it was not free and fair, that the result was not the view of millions of Nigerians?
No, it can't be possible. Nothing the cancellation about this because they have already went to the court, and even those Obi and the article, they went to Abuja protesting about the jealousy that APC defeated them, so and that. So at the time when INEC later declared that so far they have gave the certificate for the winning candidate, now they have sure that there will be they show that there will be the party that win. So we are all agree.
So what's the way forward for Nigerians now? What is your message to Nigerians? Way forward as we await the handing over to a new government.
And that's what I say. We are going gradually. This is our April now. We enter April 1st. By the end, before May now, May 20th, they will sign those winning party enter, and they will rejoice with them that our new president will enter, governors also on that.
Well, comrade, the just concluded election, as we can see, is a shambling election. They just conducted the election so that they will use that to tame the people, innocent people in the society, unsuspected, or the people that doesn't even know what is going on. They just follow trend, so that is why they could be able to tame them with the election, because they know that without the shambling election, if people hit the streets, they know what it takes for them to curtail the people. So that is the election. Though the election has come and it has gone. The election is, to me, it wasn't election. It was a selection, because we know all what they brought in at the eve of election, saying that some people are not negotiating this and that, just to what can I call it? Just to let people be dozed off, so as not for them to wake up their consciousness to the people that they're supposed to elect in the election. Because the people that elect, they elect people, or they selected themselves. They selected themselves just to allow, based on frivolities, not based on the ideology that can propel or that can wake people's consciousness to liberate the people.
A quick one, my reactions to this DSS statement, notifying the public that some misguided elements are plotting against interim government. On the first look at it, the question I asked myself is that who is the DSS pointing fingers at? You and I know that DSS is a department under the presidency, supervised by the National Security Advisor. Is the DSS telling us that the presidency is plotting an interim government? I think that's the question we need to ask ourselves. And also in the statement, they made reference to calling on the judiciary not to make frivolous judgment. I think it is wrong for an agency of government to call out another arm of government, calling their judgment frivolous. It is unheard of. It is a reckless statement on the part of the Department of State agency to issue such a statement calling out another arm of government. I think it says a lot about where we are in the country. Because another issue we need to ask ourselves is that where was the DSS when some non-state actors were issuing threat message to a certain ethnic group, calling them not to come out to vote, intimidating them, and ensuring that they failed to turn out in large numbers to participate in the electoral process. The DSS kept mute them, and now they are coming up with this frivolous claim. Well, in other climes, when we see around, we talk about the FBI and other CIA agency. We don't see them issuing statement. Their operation is done in a discreet manner, not seen in the public. But our DSS are just making mockery of the intelligence agency, we begin to ask ourselves what value is DSS to, what effort are they making to strengthen our democracy? Is the DSS truly responsible for maintaining law and order in the country? This is the question we need to ask. Or is the DSS making effort to instill fear in the minds of Nigerians that, okay, protesting, exercising their performing their civic responsibility, a crime under the Constitution? These are the questions we need to ask. And also, we hope that the DSS will go after the acclaimed perpetrators or plotters of an interim government. I think this is the responsibility now that they issued a statement now. So it is, we call on them now to go after this set of people. If truly some actors are plotting against the truncation of our democracy, I think that is the challenge at the moment.